Hello, my lovely, and welcome to the ADHD Entrepreneur. My name is Carrie, and I'm your host and the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. I'm so glad that you found the podcast. And as a woman with ADHD who mentors women with ADHD, I am here to help you harness the traits you contend with and show you how to work with them and not against them. So that way your business will grow and thrive with a lot less stress and overwhelm, and you can have a lot more fun. So if that's your jam, you're in the right place. Let's get started. See you on the inside. Hello, my lovely, and welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur. It is your host, Carrie, chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud and mentor extraordinaire. It is so good to be back with you. If you are new here, welcome. I alternate my episodes between focusing on just ADHD and focusing on ADHD and business. And today is one of the days where we're going to have a business topic. And this is something that may seem very basic, but it may not even be something you're thinking of. And when you take medication, it can be a little bit easier to be less distracted. But if that's not the route you've chosen, then sometimes you need a little bit of extra help in certain areas that you may not even consider, that might be causing a little bit of chaos in your mind. And so, what I want to talk about today is super simple, it's super basic, but it's super important. And that is creating a workspace, especially if you work from home, that is tailored to you as a person with ADHD. So let's just dive right in. And once again, thank you for being here. So I'm going to give you a handful of tips on utilizing your home, and if you work from home, especially, how to use the space and how to set it up so that you don't get so distracted. Because as you know, our brains can be like squirrels, and we'll be talking about one thing or doing one thing and shift very quickly. So these are some bonuses, some tips on how to be having less distraction while you are having work time. So the first one is keep your work area minimalistic. Now I'm going to differentiate between your work area and a couple other spaces, but I'm talking about where your desk is, or where you're sitting to do a majority of your work. Keep that as minimalistic as you possibly can. We love to have piles, and we love to pile up notebooks and things like that. You can have some sort of cabinet or cupboard, like little detached type of cabinet next to you where you can keep all of those things. So you know they're there, you know where they are, because we will pile up notebooks, because we know exactly where everything is, right? It may look like chaos to other people, but to us, it feels organized. But if you have it just sitting on your desk all around you, it can create a little bit of chaos, of a feeling of chaos. So keeping it as minimalistic as possible, just having on your desk only what you need to work: a light, your computer, maybe one notebook or notepad to write something down if it is coming to you so you won't forget it or lose it. A time cube if you use them. If you're on YouTube and you're seeing this, I'm showing it right now. If you don't know what a time cube is, it is a cube that has different time frames on it, and you can use it to help yourself have focus on a specific task by setting a time frame and challenging yourself to get as much done in that time frame as possible. If you don't know what this looks like, I can send you the link. Just DM me and I'm happy to share it with you. A good girlfriend of mine shared this tip with me using these, and it has really, really helped in situations where I've needed to get something done, needed to have focus when I wasn't super focused. And it kind of helped me being up against a deadline, right? Because we do well with those. So it's a little mini time deadline. So something like that, your pens, and then anything else, you can put it like in a drawer or into some sort of, you might even have like a cart next to you where you can keep all of those things, but directly in your line of sight. Have as little there as you possibly can, because it is very easy to get distracted by those things. So the less, as I've said many times, less is more. And it really is true. The less you have available to your eyeballs to look at or focus on, the more you're able to just focus, like right on your laptop or right on your computer. The next thing is that, in addition, is to find organizational tools that work for you. So if you need like a little slider compartment thing next to your desk, or if you need organizers in your drawers that maybe are labeled, those things are all very helpful, because then you're not spending a ton of time looking for something. It's right there. It's organized. Some types of ADHD love to be very organized. Some, it's a little bit more of a chaos type of situation. So you have to figure out what works for you. Another thing that can be very helpful is a whiteboard. So you can put a whiteboard on your wall right in front of you, if your desk is facing a wall, or you can have even a whiteboard next to you, wherever it is that you can place it. I'm sure they have whiteboards where you can set it up onto some kind of stand, but it'll give you deadlines or tasks. You can write them down so that you will know exactly what it is you are getting to, or what kind of deadlines you have coming up. Because for us, a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. If it's not right there in front of our face, we may not remember or pay attention to it. So having a whiteboard or some sort of pegboard that has information right there in front of your face can really help you to meet those deadlines and not contend with that whole out of sight, out of mind issue that we can have sometimes. Um, a lot of us love to write notes, but notes are great until they get lost. So if you had something like this whiteboard that's just right there in your face, that can be really a game changer for you, to be able to write down. If you're thinking, oh, I have to get this done, you can write it down on that whiteboard and it's not going anywhere. So that was my next tip. Next up, designate work zones. So I sit at this desk where I'm sitting right now to record my podcast, to meet with clients. This is specifically where I get client things done, where I'm sitting right now. So if I am creating this podcast for you, if I am speaking with a client, if I'm hosting a mastermind call, anything like that, I sit at my desk. That means to my brain, when I sit down in this space, it's go time. That's when I know I need to have a little bit more of my energy and reserve energy for that time, because that's when I'm basically client facing, right? So whether you're talking to other people, talking in, any kind of business, if you are a coach, you're coaching. If you are in some other industry, but you are speaking with people on a regular basis, or you're doing computer specific work, have a desk for that or a space for that. Then, after having a primary desk area for focused work, have like a comfortable nook or a soft chair or a space in your house for creating, for your creativity. Separate those things. Because if you're sitting in one place all day and looking at the same stuff, that can make us bored really easily. Like, we could get bored very quickly. But if you have another little area where you do all of your creating and you do all of your brainstorming, or even have another area that's a stand-up desk where you do creating, where you maybe create stuff for social media, or another area where you do those things, you can separate, and your mind can separate. Okay, when we sit at this desk, this is what we do here. When we sit at this desk or stand at this place or sit in this nook, this is what happens. And it indicates to your brain a shift in what you're doing. So that can be very helpful. And then you can even have a third area if you want to. That is your area of take a break, take a moment. It can be a specific chair. It can be a corner in your house. It can be, anywhere you want it to be, a pillow on the ground that's comfortable for your butt, whatever makes you happy, so that from time to time you get up from your desk or you get up from that creative space and your mind knows, oh, okay, we're going to take some rest time. We're going to have a little downtime here for just a few minutes. And you can even set a timer for that. Timers are a beautiful thing. Like I was telling you, this timer cube has been so helpful. And you can even time your rest time if you want to. And by rest time, I mean, like, sit down, take a moment, take a few breaths, be a little bit mindful, get out of your brain, get into your body, especially if you are sitting at your desk or you're sitting at your creative space. You need some time to get back into your body. And that is very, very important in your workday. The other option is, of course, to stand up and go outdoors if that's available to you. Vitamin D is your friend, and taking a small little walk and getting a breath of fresh air can also be that space for you. But having those designated things can help your mind kind of separate what you do in each place, and that can be very, 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 very helpful. Next is have as much natural light as you can. If you are watching the podcast, to my right here is an entire huge sliding glass window. I work directly next to this window when I'm sitting doing the podcast, talking to clients. This is where I sit because it's bright, it's open. I can open the slider, it's airy. And having that kind of light is shown to improve not only your mood, but your productivity as well. And it isn't always all about productivity, right? But anything that can help you maintain your focus and be productive in those moments where your mind is just like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. Having that natural light can help. Now, I know that not everybody has natural light during winter. I know that I'm in Southern California. We have light a lot of the time. I know that I'm very fortunate. I also know there are other places that don't have that. And so a brightly lit, well lit room is also a place that can help with the mood and the productivity. So don't do any like very serious work in really dim light. And there are other things you can use to help with that light therapy. You can look that up online. There are different types of things you can utilize for light therapy during winter months when you kind of get that little bit of a downtime emotionally, because I know a lot of people who go through that. But as far as your workspace, light and bright. Make sure you have light and bright when you're sitting down to that workspace. Now, on the opposite of that is that for your space, have soft, muted colors. So tans, browns, pale pinks, blues, anything soothing, light teal, any of those soothing type colors. My brand colors, when you look at my Instagram, are like hot pink, navy blue, and then like a lighter powder kind of blue and like a cream color. But my desk is a neutral brown. I have light blue for my lamp. I have a pale pink that covers the top of my desk. They're very chill, soothing colors, lavender, anything like that, so that you aren't distracted by even just the color of your workspace. Next, a comfort item. I know a lot of people who wear blankets. A lot of my friends who are in business, who own businesses and have ADHD, they have some sort of like security item. And it can be a blanket wrapped around your hip. Some people have other things. I am constantly touching satin. For some reason, satin just kind of is like a soothing thing for me. So that's like a sensory regulation tool. It's something tactile or something comforting that you have with you. And you may be like, well, aren't blankets just, for little kids or babies? No, definitely not. I know that in my room, I use a weighted blanket, but I do have other blankets that I have that are like little more of like a comfort thing because of the texture, the softness, and it can help um, with the sensory part of what you go through. And you could also have things like a stress ball or some sort of fidget toy, something like that, that can help you get out some of that stimulation that you need to get out while you're working so you can remain focused. That's a really, really good way to go. And like I said, I know a lot of people who use their work blankets and it's just something that helps them along the way while they're creating or while they're, doing work that they really need to be focused on. Um, Another thing is noise canceling headphones. I know that not everybody may do this, but I will tell you, new noise canceling headphones help reduce the noise all around you. And if you utilize music that does not have any lyrics, that's the key here, because my mind is filled with the lyrics. The moment I hear song lyrics, I'm going to sing them. So I have to keep away from music that has lyrics in them. But I do get into a better workflow when I'm using my noise canceling headphones and have a light work music in them. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Spotify, you can go any of those spaces and put, music for work focus. And they'll have ones that are like hours long that you can just play and have lightly in there. So not only are you using the noise canceling headphones, you're also slightly having some music in there. And one of the things is our brains like, what's the word I'm looking for? We like things to have order, and that's not exactly it. Music has a beat. We like to have routine, right? We like to have routine, and music has kind of a routine. It has a rhythm. A lot of us listen to the same songs over and over again because it's comforting. A lot of us watch the same movies over and over again because it's comforting. We know what's going to happen, right? So you can do this with work by utilizing music with no lyrics, but it's got a beat, it's got a cadence, and that actually helps your brain focus and helps you be able to not have as many distractions. You're not worried about the lyrics, and it gives you a beat to work to. That is something that can be very helpful. I do that all the time when I have something I really need to focus on intently, but sitting in dead silence sometimes just ain't working. So that is another suggestion that I have for you. Um, in your workspace where all of your tech is, your technology, whether it's a ring light or a lamp or a microphone or a computer, whatever it is that you have, there are these great little cord hangers. They're like latex, and they just have these little parts where you can just pop you can pop one of these into there, right? So you have your cords. You can pop your cords in there and they're all in alignment next to you. I know I have a tendency to get caught up in my cords because I'm constantly changing position. I'm crossing my legs, I'm uncrossing them, I'm crossing them the other way, I'm putting one foot underneath my leg. I sit in a multitude of ways in one sitting. And what I found is by having these little bars that you can put underneath your desk, they basically are sticky and they're made of latex. They have ones that'll hold like 5 or 6 cords. They have ones that are hold like 2 or 3 cords. Whatever you want to use, they're on Amazon. If you want to see what I'm talking about, DM me and I will send you a link or a picture just to show you what they look like. But have your wires organized so you don't get caught up in them, because that can be a real distraction. Then it takes you off course, and then you're like, okay, gosh, gotta get back on track, and you got caught up in those cords. I know it may sound silly, but most of you listening probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So having these has been a huge help. I have 2 more things for you. The next thing is, I was just speaking about the chair, how I'm sitting. Get a chair that is comfortable for you. And there are these special yoga chairs actually where you can sit on them, and then they have another platform of padding down, like maybe I would say 8 or 9 inches, so that you can sit on your butt but like put your knees on there almost like in a kneeling position, or you can cross your legs and put your feet down onto that while your butt's sitting on your chair. It is a yoga chair, but it is an incredible type of chair for ADHDers, especially because we are constantly changing our position. I have my foot up on my chair a lot with my knee close to my shoulder, and I'll switch around. I'm constantly moving around. Even when I'm sitting and focusing, I still have that energy in my body that is keeping me in consistent movement. So if you have more of the hyperactive ADHD type, having a chair that accommodates that can be really, really useful, because then you don't get stuck sitting in a chair and feeling so uncomfortable that it's distracting. And you can sit, I think it was like 100 something positions you can sit in this chair. I was like, this is so cool. A girlfriend of mine sent it to me and she's like, this is such a cool idea. So if you want to know more about that chair, I can get the name of it for you. You just got to reach out to me and I can get that for you. Last but not least, lavender is the calming, soothing scent of the world. And I know not everyone loves lavender. You can also use like an orange or a wild orange. But having some sort of oil of some kind that has those scents can be really calming on you. It can calm your body, it can calm your mind. When you inhale something like lavender, it's automatically going directly to your brain and will help calm you down. So this can help calm you a little bit and help you keep a little bit more focused by having just a nice, pleasant scent. I know some people are very highly responding to scent. Like I have my olfactory senses are very, very strong. So I can't use a lot of it. But you can literally just grab something and have the lid open and you'll be able to smell it enough. Some people like to use a diffuser. But those lavender specifically, there is a shit ton of research on it that they actually use it in hospital rooms for surgical patients to calm them down. I've read these things in medical places that I trust. I think the Mayo Clinic does it. I think there are several hospitals across the US who utilize lavender to even lower pain levels. So lavender is something that's been very studied and tested to help with calming and soothing. So having a scent like that in the room, you don't have to make it super intense. If if smelling things is overwhelming to you, you can make it really light, and it'll still have a good effect on you. But that is something that really can help you as well. So these are some great tips. Every time I make tips or suggestions, I always say, take what you like, leave the rest. These may not all be for you, but you may have heard something today where you're like, I did not even think of that, because boy, do I know I hear things all the time where I was like, I didn't even think of that. That is a fantastic idea. And then I can implement it. You may know all of these, but hopefully there's one or two in here that you can grab out and try. And if you do and it helps, I would love to hear about it. Please feel free to shoot me a DM, or you can leave me a message on my website. And also, if you feel like you got something out of this episode, or if you're loving this podcast, please leave a 5-star review and a rating. Like, leave me a little message telling me what you're loving or which episode that you liked the most. That means the world to me, and I do read them all. So with that, I see you. I love you, and I'm rooting for you always. Please stay weird, stay wild, and I will see you next time. And I will talk to you next time. So take care. Have a great day. Bye.